Hello Internet and welcome to this week's edition of 1 Minute Answers from 1 Minute Economics, an edition dedicated to consumerism. But before getting started with the two questions I have lined up for today, I want to do the following. 1. Let you guys know that to celebrate the launch of my new book, I'm going to be organizing a contest that is hopefully going to be pretty awesome, and I'm currently looking for sponsors. So if you offer products or services and would like to help the channel and receive some exposure as well, please send me an email over at 1minuteeconomics@gmail.com and let me know what you have in mind. So the prizes can be pretty much anything. For example, if you're a designer and want to offer a free logo, then that would be awesome. Or if you, for example, offer, teddy bears and want to give one of my winners a teddy bear as well, that's great as well. There are no, strict requirements whatsoever. Any and all prizes are more than appreciated. So again, shoot me an email at 1minuteeconomics@gmail.com and let me know what you have in mind. 2. I want to pick the topic for next week, and the topic for next week is going to be Russia. Now, a lot of people talk about Russia from a political perspective, from a military perspective, but I think not enough attention is given to the economics of it all. So for next week, feel free to ask me questions such as just how strong the Russian economy actually is, or anything else related to the economics of Russia, and I will do my best to answer. For today's first question, Account would like to know what I think about cashback systems, such as the ones available with credit cards, or generally speaking, what I have to say about the idea of telling consumers, okay, the more you shop, the bigger the bonus will be, the more you shop, the more you'll be rewarded. If he wants to know if I think it's a good idea, if I think it's a bad idea, and how sustainable I believe all of this is. Now, as someone who lives in Romania, which is a country where credit card providers, for example, don't offer cashback systems that can be considered all that tempting, especially compared to the United States, I do have to say that I, for one, would be able to put such offers to good use. And for this reason, I'm tempted to go ahead and state that cashback systems are not inherently good, and they're also not inherently bad. Because, for example, a sharp blade, is it good or is it bad? I would say it's neither, because a criminal can use that blade to take a life, a surgeon can use that blade to save one. It all depends on what you do with it. And the same principle is valid when it comes to cashback systems. Someone who's trying to run a responsible household will, in my opinion, be able to definitely do awesome stuff with these cashback systems. He's going to be able to take advantage of the various perks that are being offered in a way that makes financial sense for his family. So yeah, from that perspective, these are good offers to have. However, if you treat this cashback framework as yet another incentive to consume, and consume some more, then you're going to be in pretty bad shape. So if people would become more financially educated and therefore able to take advantage of these offers in a sustainable manner, then I believe it would be pretty awesome for all parties involved. However, given the consumerist nature of the world we live in today, I would argue that most people tend to consider credit card offers as, again, yet another incentive to consume recklessly, and for this reason, I'm going to go ahead and give my final verdict that, in theory, these offers can end up turning into something pretty awesome, and for some people, they do generate great financial results for their households or whatever. However, in most cases, it's yet another unsustainable element associated with the world we live in, and until that changes, I will have to say that, for the most part, no, this entire framework is not exactly sustainable. For today's second and final question, Just a Human mentioned that he hates consumerism but is worried that if it were to disappear, the economy would collapse, and he would like to know if I envision a way out of this. And if you're asking, will the economy collapse if consumerism goes away overnight, then I will answer with quite a bit of certainty that yes. Given the way in which society is currently structured, I, for one, find an economic collapse in such a scenario very, very, very likely. And I've made a video about this called The Paradox of Thrift that I will be linking to. And the main idea is that for you as an individual, being financially responsible, not spending recklessly, stuff like that, for you as an individual, it's a good decision. But if everyone were to do it in our current framework, then society as we know it will collapse. So if I were to identify the problem in this entire equation would be precisely society as we know it. And of course, we should all have concerns about just how sustainable this kind of a system is, and also the willingness to think about how we're going to transition to something better. But to address the second part of your question, I find it hard to believe that in light of how deeply entrenched consumerism is in everything that has to do with the way society functions at this point, I find it hard to believe that we can transition to something hopefully better without at least some degree of pain being involved. So the key here is thinking about how we're going to manage the transition period, and right off the bat, we should expect this transition period to be difficult because okay, people are going to spend less. People are going to take on less debt. What is going to happen to that excess energy? How will that particular void be filled? So I do believe that, preferably in a collective manner, we do have to figure out what we're going to do. And that, okay, humans need to consume less, but we're going to use all of this excess energy in order to, I don't know, make the planet cleaner or explore outer space or do something else that's awesome and better than what we're doing today. Because if we don't fill that void, then of course the likelihood of us ending up in a deflationary death spiral is quite high. So yeah, I believe the current system is definitely unsustainable, but we need to be realistic and figure out how we're going to handle the transition period if you want to move towards something better. That's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in to yet another edition of 1 Minute Answers from 1 Minute Economics. And remember, the topic for next week is Russia. So feel free to ask me anything at all about the economy of Russia, about just how strong or weak Russia is from an economic perspective, anything at all. Just write a comment below and I will do my best to answer next week. Also, if you can contribute with a prize to the contest I'm going to be organizing to celebrate the launch of my book, please send me an email over at 1minuteeconomics@gmail.com. Any prizes are welcome, from teddy bears to web design services or anything else. As always, please like my videos, comment, be active in the community, and if you haven't by now, subscribe to 1 Minute Economics. And finally, those who want to and can afford to can also support the channel financially by buying my Wealth Management 2.0 book or donating through PayPal, Patreon, or Bitcoin. For more info, head on over to 1minuteeconomics.com. Thanks a lot, guys, and have an awesome weekend.